just really urge you to come up with a solution soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Farley. We appreciate your comment.
Anyone else for public comment? I see no others.
Thank you, Fred. We will move on to approval of the minutes of the May 2025 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review, and are there any edits or corrections? If there are none, I would take a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Judge Thurston. We'll count you as second. Paul, all
Thank
in
you.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. 2 items for the chair's report, and then I will say we will move our action items up in front of renovation update and the performance and financial report, owing to some time limitations for our board members. The first, speaking of board members, is to welcome Michael Houston as our newest board member. Michael is an advocate for walkable and bikeable communities and has a long career in urban design and planning, and we are pleased to have him joining the team. So welcome, Michael. I look forward to meeting you in person very soon.
Thank you.
The other is that we have a new board counsel, that is Kara Legg. Welcome, Kara. I'm pleased to have you as well. With that, we will move on to action items, Resolution 2025-15, purchase of cutaway vehicles. Take it away, Fred.
Thank you. So Resolution 2025-15 is to authorize the purchase of 4 2x2 cutaway vehicles from Tesco Specialty Vehicles. This is under the Kentucky Public Transit Association Bid 11. These vehicles will be used in the downtown connector service that is partially funded by LFUCG. And yeah, if there's any questions about these vehicles, I'm happy to take those now.
Fred, I was just finding my place in the agenda. Remind me again how we're funding these.
So these are going to be funded partially with a carbon reduction grant and then the local match.
Okay. Any other questions from the group? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
A second.
Thank you, Paul. Second from Lady. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you all. Next up is the formation of the nominating committee for the coming year. Fred, I believe you have that in your report.
This is the moment where I think you usually volunteer people to join the committee, or we can take volunteers as well. And what this will do is next month the committee will come back and formally nominate our chair and vice chair.
Excellent. Judge Thurston, I believe you have led this effort in the past. Would you be willing to do so again?
Led is a very loose term, but yes, I would be happy to help here.
Fantastic. And Lady, I'm gonna add you to that list. So thank you all both. We look forward to your report next month. Hopefully you can catch Vice Chair Rogers while she is not traveling. Great. Let's see. I think, Fred, is there anything else on the agenda that requires a quorum to act on?
No. We're ready to move on with the transit center.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
So in our transit center report, construction is going well. We do have 2 additional change orders to present this month, and we'll do that during the change order report. We do not need board action on those change orders. But after that, we think we're really ready to move. Walls are starting to be put up. We are pouring the curb and concrete now. And yeah, things are going well. We do plan on installing some sunshade on High Street. That is coming within a week or so. So look for more information on that probably in about a week. You say, Chris? But yeah, we're really moving along. I think everything is still on schedule to be finished in early November.
Glad to hear it, Fred. Thank you. Any questions for Fred about the transit center project? moving right along. We'll go into our monthly performance report and financials.
Good morning. So we are going to review the performance report for May 2025. And we'll go ahead and start with our mission statement. We serve people in our community with mobility solutions. So the highlights for May, we were able to celebrate staff on May 18th, recognizing them with from anywhere from 1 year of safe driving all the way up to 22 years of safe driving, and able to welcome our newest million miler, Scott Nelson, and that photo in the top left is him and his child. So it's a really great time, and it's awesome to just see the volume of folks that we work with that focus on safety, from operations to maintenance, and the excellent job that people are out there doing, and see folks sort of out of uniforms and with their family. Our general manager, Fred, presented the budget to LFUCG in early May. We were able to complete our operator refresher trainings during the weeks of May 19th and 26th. And some of the topics generally included things like the Americans with Disabilities Act, service animals, assault prevention, and defensive driving. We did install 5 new benches on High Street during the month of May. And then on the 29th, with the start of FCPS summer, student success and cultural pass cards became effective, and those are available for youth to ride free during the summer months. So that program will go for the entirety of the summer, unlimited, up to the last day of FCPS summer break. So moving forward to ridership, we see our normal May trajectory where things sort of change a little bit. If you look at the green line there, we followed a similar trajectory this year. So we're seeing the same trends that we typically do with those numbers. We were down about 30,000 rides from last month. So we did notice, from last year. We did notice that there's a change in September. We've been looking at this ridership. We've been noticing there are some changes, that it's lower, and we're working on a deep dive, which goes from like big to pulling hairs and pulling strings and trying to figure out what we're doing. So now that we have almost a full fiscal year of data, we noticed a change in about September. And now that we have almost that full fiscal year of data, we can look back and see what's going on and where exactly things are happening. And we've noticed some trends that we've mentioned before near the university, but really trying to figure exactly where things are happening and pinpoint it down. Is it a date? Is it a time? Is it what exactly is happening? You'll notice that the trips per mile and trips per hour are down, and that's indicative of just lower ridership. So if we look at on-time performance, we were at 87.7 this month, so a little bit ahead of the previous year, where we were at 86.6 in May of last year. Again, just ahead of 87 for April of this year. We are doing well. We knew we made service improvements related to the on-time performance in December, and saw some positive trends in that way. When we moved to High Street from Vine Street at the Transit Center, we knew that it would potentially have some small impacts on on-time performance. We're entering and exiting a little bit differently than what would be typical, so we knew that would happen. We are still working together with planning and operations to look for other ripe opportunities, routes that we know may have been having a little issue here or there, and so we're looking at some other opportunities to improve on-time performance and stay above that 90%. So on safety, I wanted to go ahead. If you are looking at your chart in your packet and you are looking at this chart, they are not the same. We found an issue in the fiscal year 24 data. It was pulling incorrectly, so we will be issuing you a full correction in the packet. However, other than the days with no preventable accidents, the fiscal year 25 and this month are all correct. So that is still correct that we are at 4 preventable accidents for the month of May, no workers' compensation claims, and that year-to-date 25 is correct. We operated 9,313 miles between road calls, and maintenance continues at 100% with 56, I don't want to discount them and the hard work that they do, 56 of 56 preventive maintenance inspections for the month of May. Before I ask for any questions, we are looking at some service adjustments for August. This is sort of your quick overview. You will be receiving more information. We'll be communicating the information about public meetings and that sort of thing. We're looking at adding some efficiency to 2 routes on Nicholasville on Saturdays, and that's Route 5, Nicholasville Road, and Route 10, Hamburg. There's some opportunities with some time available, so we're going to see about getting some extra trips in there and some more efficiency specifically for those routes. Route 51, our night Woodhill route, which heads out our Woodhill route and comes back in the Richmond Road route. After 9:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday. It's been struggling for a while. We've been looking at different options. Our operations team provided us 4 excellent options to regain some time, so we're looking at the least impactful one as far as changes are concerned. We're looking at some increased frequency on Nicholasville Road, Route 5, and then an alignment adjustment for Route 24, Old Frankfort Pike. We are working through these all actively, but we wanted to give you the heads up so that when you get a notice of a public meeting and some engagement opportunities and see some more materials, that you would have the opportunity to know what's going on and not be sort of blindsided by that information. I think that's all I have this morning. Does anyone have any questions about the performance report?
A question regarding the ridership. Do you think the renovation of the transit center may have had something to do with that? The waiting areas seem to be not ideal, I guess.
There could be some of that impact. Because we've been seeing some trends since September, we think that there may be something else going on in the system. But right now we're trying to figure out and draw down where is that happening. So as we pull things out and look at those core routes versus the circulators and that sort of thing, we'll have to do a little bit more deep dive. There's absolutely a potential impact on ridership based on that with the transit center. Knowing that we have a largely transit dependent population, so folks just don't have a lot of other options. There could be some changes, but we wouldn't expect a significant amount necessarily. But that is a consideration that we'll take into account, as particularly for April and May, and then as we look to June as well. All right.
All right, so I wasn't here last month, so I wasn't privy to hear all the great things that Miss Emily said about me. But on the paratransit side, the overall monthly ridership and OTP was very similar to the previous month of April. It continues to show signs of improvement. The total ridership for the month of May was 15,145, a slight increase from the previous month by a few trips. Also, compared to the previous fiscal year of 24, it was a slight increase by about 1,000 trips. When we break it down into the weekday ridership, it was yet again slightly above the previous year, fiscal year. And then we also break down that ridership into Saturday and Sunday, which you'll also see in Saturday with a slight increase as well, showing signs of growth. But when you get to Sunday, although it's a slight decrease, the biggest impact when it comes to the weekend ridership is holidays, which you see this month was a holiday. 206 trips went into the holiday ridership. But also a high impact on service is also weather related, so uncontrollable events, in which this year has been a very eventful year when it comes to rain, sleet, and snow. Total revenue miles and revenue hours continue to grow. Trips are getting longer and revenue hours are growing. Trips per mile and trips per hour are also both in line with the previous fiscal year as well. Did I hit the down button? Okay. When it comes to the safety side, 0 preventable accidents. I believe last month we reported 4 preventable accidents, and I wanted to also correct that as well. 6, 7. It was 1 preventable accident for the previous month and was 0 preventable accidents for this month. As you can see, the previous fiscal year was 15. We are still slightly below in preventable accidents. My famous topic that I love to talk about so much is the overall on-time performance. And in this chart, we show both the edited OTP as well as the unedited OTP. So for the month of May, the unedited OTP was 72%. Compared to the reconciliation process, we go through, we review all of the trips, we make sure that they're being categorized in the right direction, making sure that RTB Dev is getting credit for trips that customers may want to take the ride earlier, or if it was trips that were out of the control of RTB Dev, or anything like that, and then we kind of reconcile it into that process. So overall, the audited OTP for the month of May came in at 80.89%. If you look at this chart right here, I think the biggest focus for me would be the month of March. In the month of March, you immediately see a slight decline in both the monthly OTP as well as the audited OTP. And in the month of March, we added 7 new buses to service. We also increased office staff by 1 new additional administrative employee. And we focused a lot on the information, the feedback that we received from listening sessions, and we moved forward with more trip corrections. And you could tell from the month of April and also from the month of May, the OTP has been continuously trending in the correct direction. So in short, based off of that spreadsheet that I just showed you, more buses equals better service. In the month of May, we continued to stay fully staffed. We also focused, we thought it was a great time to focus on reservations and dispatch refresher training when it comes to customer service. We continue to work with RTB Dev corporate and local staff during the reconciliation process and address anything that we find in the reconciliation process that may need to be tweaked when it comes to Ecolane software. The strengths is that it has been a very, very busy fiscal year. Usually the ridership fluctuates throughout the year, showing more ridership in the months of April through June. So I expect June to have an increase as well. But also, I'm happy to present to you that this fiscal year we are officially higher than the previous fiscal year when it comes to OTP. Not by much, and even though it is 80% in the 80th percentile and the goal is 90%, I do expect that we keep moving forward when it comes to OTP. The data is getting closer and closer when it comes to edited OTP versus the unedited OTP. So I'm happy to present that. We also, same as last month, have a decrease in complaints. I think we expressed that it was a 90% decrease, and that decrease is still the same, close to an average of about 90% decrease in complaints. We also receive compliments, so the way we record complaints is our category is technically called comments. And in comments, we add a total column of all compliments, general comments, as well as complaints in there. And in all categories, the compliments are outweighing the compliments are outweighing the complaints. So I just wanted to recognize that as well. Overall, the system is getting stronger. The overall system is getting better. And I also would like to mention that even though the OTP is getting stronger each month, we also continue to face challenges that are outside of our control. One of the biggest challenges would be construction, ongoing construction on citation Specifically, you have traffic lights that go out left and right at various times of the day. You have a lot of side streets being shut down, and that kind of pose a huge problem when you're trying to redirect at the last minute. And that also includes making trips longer when you're trying to get a trip count of at least 2 trips per hour. So in addition with that, we also recognize that late cancellations and no-shows is a concern when it comes to the OTP. And one of the things that we've been focused on this month leading into the next month is the Riders Guide. We've been able to collectively work through the document, review and see where we can improve, and also provide more efficient information for the customer as well. So before I pass it on to Ms. Nikki for the financial support, I do want to stress that a typical transit agency usually has a spare ratio of about 20%. And although I am thankful that you all have provided us with additional buses, I will continuously stand up here and ask for more. The fleet that we currently have is depreciating, and as close as we need to get to this 20%, I think that we are fairly there at the 20%, but that 20% that we currently have as a spare ratio is depreciating faster. The repairs for the spare ratio continuously grow, and also you have to consider that the fleet is also aging. So we could be possibly 1 vehicle away from a bad situation, and I wanted to express that once again, more vehicles, more buses equals better service. So, thank you. Anyone have any questions?
Randolph, I had one. You mentioned the challenge of late cancellations. Can you kind of walk me through how late cancellations impact on-time performance?
Yes. So right now we have a rider's guide that states that a customer may call to cancel that ride up to 2 hours in advance. And canceling your ride up to 2 hours in advance would warrant RTB Dev enough time to redirect and focus on optimizing the service. But when a trip is canceled at the last minute, let's just say 1 hour, it reduces that optimization. And sometimes that bus may go to the east side when the trip canceled at the last minute when they should have been traveling to the west side. That also increases the revenue, the trip miles as well. So.
And
Thank you, that makes sense.
kind of follow up on that, do you all send out any sort of text confirmation maybe an hour ahead of time, or is that a possibility to give them like one more chance to cancel or update their reservation?
So one of the things that we've been focused on is the IVR system. Once the reservations makes that trip and confirms the information, an IVR call goes out to the customer the day before. Sometimes it goes out during the day, sometimes it goes out the night before. It all depends on the timing of the actual reservations itself. For an example, if the reservations is at 6 a.m., majority of the time the IVR call will go out as early as the afternoon of the previous day. That IVR call, we also listen to that IVR call. It gives an opportunity to confirm information. It gives you an opportunity to cancel each leg of the trip, or just both at the same time. And if you miss the call, it also leaves you that voicemail to give you that information. One of the other things that we did to reduce the late cancellations and the no-shows is Emily and her team, they created a quick guide. And in that quick guide, it gives you cancellation and late cancellation information. The office hours remain open even after reservations close. And after that point, we've ensured that RTP Dev has a voicemail system where if you do cancel after hours, RTP Dev can go in as soon as they open up and cancel the trip as well. So it's multiple points of cancellation, but also, you are dealing with a population that may cancel due to being ill, or just not feeling well, or a lot of last minute changes. And those are out of the customer's control, so they're not held accountable for those. but we also try to instill in them if they do know in advance or weather-related incidents, or we know that a holiday is coming up, we do try our best to try to reach out to those locations. I will say Parks and Recs does a great job at contacting us and say, hey, this event is canceled, and we'll immediately make strides to either call the person in advance and let them know, or if the holiday is coming up, we kind of comb through that system in advance. Different scenarios like that.
Do you all have any sort of automated text system, or is it's all phone calls?
All phone
voice
calls.
calls?
And we also have the mobility app. Thank you for reminding me. The mobility app. So customers do have the ability to cancel their ride on the mobility app, as well as see where the ride is currently located.
Any other questions? Thank you, Randolph.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi.
It is very hard to believe we are 11 months through this fiscal year. We are looking at the financials for the end of May. We are at a good point right now with the operating cash. We're a little over what we were this time last year. The note that we had on there the last couple of months, accounts receivable, will be adjusted on June 30th. Most of those entries come from the work in process, which are our ongoing projects. We have the transit center project. We still need to be reimbursed for some of the bus purchases. So you'll see that adjustment later on. But everything else on the balance sheet is looking really well, but I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any. Okay, we'll move on to the statement of revenue and expenses. Property taxes, we are very happy that we have received $1.5 million over what we did this exact time last year. Part of that could be timing, but it's also because property taxes have increased, as you probably know from your own personal experience. Passenger revenue is staying pretty steady. Like we've seen the last couple months, it's been flat. It is a little bit under what we had this time last year, but we expected that. Our wages and fringe, of course, we knew our wages would be over due to our new collective bargaining agreement that we did back in the fall, but it's pretty much where we expected to be this time this year, and it's pretty consistent with where we've been. Fringe benefits kind of wash out some of the overage that we've had for wages. We are looking good for our vacancies right now. We do continue to hire. We have a class going just about every month. So we're still looking really good in that area. Professional services, we started doing some things in June that you kind of I know it's 1,000 degrees outside right now, but it's kind of your spring cleaning. We have window cleaning, we have carpet cleaning, we have some other maintenance items. So that $320,000 that you see there, and we are under budget right now, we will see some of that being used in those items. Chris and I have been working a lot on some other items that we're doing before the end of June. Materials and supplies, of course, that's bus parts. That's been over budget for bus parts the last couple of months, so we've expected that. Fuel, right now, everything was looking good. Right now, we don't know. The last price that we had for the monthly average for May was $2.22. Our yearly from July through May, the average was $2.36. And we have seen the CNG go up slightly, but not much. We're still at $1.51 a gallon, so for diesel gallon equivalent. So we're always happy to see the CNG cost. Everything else is pretty much under budget. We have some travel and training that's happening in the month of June, and you'll see some of those expenses. But other than that, everything is looking really good for this time of year. But I'll be glad to answer any questions. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. think we'll move on to the change order report. One thing I do want you to note, though, if you would, is to give us a little bit of detail for those who might not know about what happens when we're running our phase 1 heat plant, which we've been doing over the last several days.
So a phase 1 heat plan is put into place by the city. And what we do in response is we provide free rides to anyone who is looking to access a cooling shelter. The city has a number of cooling shelters open across town. Anyone gets on board and says, hey, I'm here to access a cooling shelter, we're happy to transport those folks to those shelters. So we're making connection to the community in need, to the resources that are available to them.
And are there cooling shelters? I don't imagine on every route. So if someone comes to a bus that's not on a route that's servicing a cooling shelter, will they just ride that bus until they get back to the transit center and can get on a line that does access one?
Yes, that is correct.
Got it. So in the meantime, our buses are sort of rolling cooling shelters.
Absolutely. And our change order report, we have 2 change orders, both related to the transit center. And I would note on the topic of cooling shelters, cooling, the heat, the transit center construction, we do allow passengers to stay on board and then step off when that bus departs and step on another bus as one approaches while they're waiting. So we do allow that option for passengers who are looking to cool off. But again, we will have some sort of sunshade up within the next week or so. We'll have more information on that coming shortly. On our change orders, the first change order is for structural steel work. We had to do some corrective work on the building facade. That will allow us to, when we tore the front of the building off, there were some things that we really didn't expect and wouldn't know that we would find until we actually took the building apart. But this will allow us to remedy those issues and get the facade of the building really correct and structurally sound. The second change order is to install 2 roof hatches. That's to allow us access to the roof as we're now putting some cabling and other technology up in the roof that will allow our maintenance team to be able to get up there and access those systems. And we do expect that this is the last of the major change orders. We're through discovery. We've taken pretty much the building apart and we're starting to put things back together. Anything can happen, but we do expect that this is the end of what we say high dollar change orders. Have any questions on that?
All good?
We do not have any old business or new business. The only proposed agenda item is our nominating committee report, and we do not have a need for closed session today.
Excellent. Well, thank you all very much for your time. Without any other comments, we are adjourned. Have a great day.
Thank you.